primal voice is a very interesting study as well. This blew my mind. Studies have been done regarding nonverbal communication and primal sound that show us that when explaining how we feel and expressing our emotions to someone, only 7% of the words we use have an effect on the listener. Remember I talked about tone of voice before? How important is that? So basically you could essentially gesture and grunt and get your point across faster. Thank you, Tarzan. Oh. Our primal voice is a reflexive, organic sound production which includes crying, yelling, moaning, singing, calling, whining. And when you cried as a baby, that developed neural pathways that connected to your larynx and then became hardwired in your brain. So when kids are expressing themselves, shouting, screams, other whoops of joy and primal sounds, what do we tell them? What were you told? Sit down and be quiet, please. Thank you. Well, this probably would cause us to develop unnecessary tensions as we were adults. And those also became hardwired in our brain, and that definitely would result in our way of making free and authentic sounds as we got older. It's really interesting when I work with clients who come to me sometimes for business reasons. They just want to speak up at a meeting and be more comfortable. When I ask them to, say, just do a sound, like an organic sound, like, hey, right? They can't do it. It literally gets stuck in their throats. So using primal sounds, organic sounds, is very helpful because it can reconnect us with those free and reflexive sounds that we made as a baby. And one of my favorite authors, Dr. Christiane Northrup, says in one of her books, making sound is an important part of emotional release. I also read a story a while ago by a midwife who said it was her experience that the mothers who were more vocal during the birthing process had less complications than the moms who tried to suppress their desire to yell and scream and cuss out their husbands. I also had my own story, which was incredible. Does anybody know about the modality of myofascial release? It's pretty okay, some people. It's basically what it is. It's working with the connective tissue, the fascia of the body, and it's kind of like massage, but not really. They use compression. They press a lot to melt the fascia to release any frozen restrictions. So the practitioner of one of these places was, my appointment, was compressing my chest for quite some time. All of a sudden I felt my body just vibrating. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And all of a sudden this sound, this primal, came out of my mouth. I was not attached to it. I was completely detached from it. It was like my body was on autopilot. The trauma was released by sound.